is always there for whomever he comes to meet him. Now, laughter in Arabic, ضحك, is grades. Part of it is smiling. So, فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا مِنْ قَوْلِهَا. So, to smile is a form of laughter. But the Prophet would never ever laugh, alayhi salatu salam, with a loud bang. You know that people laugh and open their mouths and you can see their cavities and investigate everything. What is this? No. The most he would do is just, you could see his teeth, but not open his mouth, and definitely not with a voice. Ha 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 ha. And some people fall on their back. Some people start to, weep and tears come. What is this? And the sad thing is that people even pay money for that. They go to stand-up comedians and they pay them money to mock them, to scold them, to say bad things about them, to roast them, as they say. And they laugh. And they make fun of religion, they make fun of your nationality, they make fun of everything. And this is a form of insanity. The Prophet used to laugh and smile whenever it was needed. Once there were women sitting at his side speaking to him from Quraysh, from his tribe, and they were loud in their voices. No, they're doing this, they're doing that. And the Prophet was there among them, listening to their complaints, alayhi salatu wasalam, when all of a sudden Umar ibn al-Khattab knocked on the door and said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. He wanted to come in. Immediately they slowed down and nobody was speaking. So the Prophet alayhi salatu, and they started taking hijab, putting hijab on and covering themselves appropriately. And Umar was given permission to come, so he entered. When he entered, he saw the Prophet laughing. So he said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, may Allah always make you happy, in a good mood. Well, tell me, why are you laughing?" He said, "Subhanallah, I was amazed of these women who were raising their voice in my presence. And the moment they heard your voice, they calmed down and they started covering themselves properly, and they've done this and that." So it shows you the character of the Prophet ﷺ, that he was I wouldn't say a cheerful person in the sense, but he was a pure soul. The Prophet ﷺ would not find it harmful to express his joy, his laughter, his amazement of what is happening. And this shows you that our religion is a religion, a live religion. It's not a religion of being dead, being serious, don't speak, don't act, don't, be very slow, no. Islam is an ongoing religion. Have fun, smile, do practical jokes if needed, no problem in that. The Prophet ﷺ was addressed by his companions. They said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, you joke with us. You're the Prophet, but you are joking with us." And he said, "Yes, but I never say except what is true. I joke, but everything that comes from my mouth is what? Is truth." The Prophet ﷺ had a companion of his name was Zahir ibn Haram. Zahir was a nomad. The nomads live in the desert, they have their cattle, they go from one place to they don't have a fixed place to stay. So he was a companion of the Prophet ﷺ. Whenever he came to Medina to sell wool or ghee or whatever products they have to make money, he used to bring gifts and give it to the Prophet ﷺ, as small as they are. And the Prophet ﷺ appreciated that. So whenever he wanted to go to his desert, the Prophet would also give him some gift. And they had this love bond between them. And the Prophet used to say, Zahir is our desert area, and we are his suburbs, or his city. One day, the Prophet went, alayhi salam, after the salat, in the spare time in the middle, and he found him selling some of his products in the market, auctioning. You know, who wants to buy this gallon of ghee? It's original, it's 100% cholesterol, full, not free, and this is the So the Prophet came from behind him, sneaked behind him, and embraced him, not saying anything. So if someone comes behind you and puts a lock on you, and this, who's this? Come on, let me go. Who's this doing this to me? When he knew that it was the Prophet ﷺ, he kept pushing his back so it would stick to the Prophet's chest. He would not want to let go. And the Prophet announced it, ﷺ. Oh, people of the market, who will buy this slave from me? He's auctioning. Who will buy this slave? Did the Prophet say a lie? He is a slave of Allah. So this is the form of joking the Prophet used to do, alayhi salam. And Zahir said, oh, Prophet of Allah, someone like me? Wallah, you will not find one bargain. Nobody is going to buy me from you, alayhi salam. Nobody is going to buy me. I'm worthless. I have no value. The Prophet said, but by Allah, at the side of Allah, you are valuable. This is the humor the Prophet had, alayhi salatu wasalam. A man comes to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, oh Prophet of Allah, give me a camel so that I would go and fight in the cause of Allah. So the Prophet says, I will give you a son of a camel. And the man said, what would I do with the son of a camel? He said, subhanallah, a camel, isn't it born out of a she camel? So this big male camel is a son of a she camel. I'm going to give you one. So the Prophet again, plays with words in order to put some humor. Suhaib once came to the Prophet ﷺ and found the Prophet eating bread and dates. And Suhaib had trachoma in one of his eyes. You know, when it comes in, I don't know what's called in English. In Arabic called Ramad Rabi'i. When you wake up and it's full of mucus and you can't see and you have to put some drops. So he came to the Prophet ﷺ and started eating with it. And the Prophet said to him, ﷺ, subhanallah, you're eating dates while you're having trachoma in your eye? And how is this possible? So Suhaib said, oh Prophet of Allah, I'm eating with the other eye, with the good eye. So the Prophet smiled. This is how the Prophet used to live. Not halal haram, or aqidah, or this or that, and everything is what's your manhaj. Come on. Live like the Prophet ﷺ. Enjoy life as he used to, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How much time for salah? Okay, so this is what the Prophet used to say or to do when he used to sit with the companions and they used to chit-chat. He used to smile, he used to laugh with them. But as a human being, as a balance, as a perfect human being, he also used to cry. He also used to weep because he was filled with emotion. It is totally wrong to say men don't cry. On the contrary, men cry to prove that they are real men. The Prophet ﷺ used to cry out of mercy for the dead, out of fear for his ummah, out of fear of Allah. Whenever he heard the Quran, whenever he attended a funeral, whenever the sun eclipsed, and he is the one whom Allah forgiven the previous and the upcoming sins. Yet he used to be this emotional. So let's take a preview, because this is part of how the Prophet lived, alayhi salatu wasalam, and see how he cried, alayhi salatu wasalam. Number one, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As says, when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam read this ayah, my Lord of Ibrahim, my Lord indeed they have led astray many among the people